Welcome to Story Route Zero.
This is a podcast where friends gather to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, and the strange worlds of video games. We often don't know where we're going, but that's half the fun. Come on the journey with us. Hit us up on Twitter at StoryRoute0. You can send us an email at StoryRoute0@gmail.com. That includes questions, concerns, comments, complaints, pet pics. Send us some recipes. Send us some stories about your day. We're going to listen.
Podcast, start your engines. We have liftoff. Let's have a journey.
Are you going to try and make this work or spend your days down in the dirt? You can see things can change and walls can come tumbling down. That was the Style Council. My name is Matthew Keel, and this is Story Route Zero. Actually, Jason, you're going to have to correct me on the episode number because I do not know.
45. 6.
Is it 46?
Yes.
Okay, so this is our 46th episode, and we also have a 46th president. Joe Biden won the election. It was called on Saturday. And
that worked out pretty well.
And
I better not check this and it's different.
We totally planned this. So that voice is Jason. I know normally I introduce Michaela first. Michaela, how are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
We are going to figure out how high Jason is right now because Jersey
45.
legalized weed. Oh, it's the one we got out?
It's 45. Fuck.
Ah, well. Ah, well. Errors all over the place.
Technically, it's 46 because we started with episode 0, so we'll just make the argument it's 46 and go with it.
It's our 46th episode, but it's episode number 45 because we do everything right. So how baked are you, Jason?
No. Yes. No. What? What are we doing?
Get on this level. Massachusetts legalized like years ago.
I don't think PA has. I think we've decriminalized it, but that's about it. Michaela, how you doing?
I'm PG.
Yeah. You just said you had a Monday, so we won't really go into that. But I will ask you, how was your weekend?
Mixed bag.
Mixed bag?
Mixed bag.
Okay.
Stop
Moose.
sipping over there.
Moose, how was your weekend? Oh, Moose is gone today, so we won't get a thumbs up, a thumbs down, or any Division, Bloodborne, or Dark Souls talk, which sucks. But I love him to death. He's like a brother to me, and I love listening to him say, "No, I didn't play Division at all," and then I'm going to talk about it for 45 minutes. But you guys had a wonderful episode last week. Want to bring our guest Carrie to task because she should have really taken you guys down with that not a challenge stuff. Other than that, it was great to hear her voice again. Jason, how was your weekend?
You bought Picture Puzzle Makeout League, didn't you?
I can neither confirm nor deny that.
I had a good weekend.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Put the cup down. Stop.
Hey, the Giants beat the Washington football team.
Oh, that's good.
It was ugly.
The football team.
It was ugly.
How ugly was it?
To steal it from Christopher Titus, more ugly than a Rolling Stone tour bus.
Wow, that's pretty ugly.
There was a fumble that went like 40 yards with both teams dropping the ball.
With nobody actually having the ball.
Went to the zoo.
Were they literally trying to play football at that point?
Yeah, I'm not sure. It wasn't a zoo. That was a separate. We went to the zoo, but.
Oh, okay. All right.
Something else happened.
Gonna cut my camera off in a minute.
I can't. What the
Is that
hell
gonna
was it?
Shut up.
There was something.
What is there a bit that I'm missing?
Yes, because you don't watch
okay.
the sports ball.
Oh, Notre Dame won.
Shut up.
Oh, yeah. I looked at that score earlier, and I knew I was supposed to remember that, but I did not. Okay, so now Clemson went from what they had to have been, near the top.
They were number one. Now they're number
one.
four.
So now they're number 46 based on how the college football system ranks.
Number 4. They basically took Notre Dame's previous spot. So.
And Notre Dame probably dropped just because that seems to be how it works.
They're 2 now.
Okay, who are they behind?
What, Bama?
Alabama.
Yeah.
Well, we can all agree that Alabama sucks, right?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Yes, definitively so.
Okay.
It sets up an interesting. It sets up an interesting end of the year. Notre Dame could play Clemson again. They'll most likely play Clemson in the ACC championship, and if Clemson were to win, they might play each other in the college football playoffs.
Yeah.
It's messed up this year because Notre Dame isn't usually technically in the ACC. Yes?
That's what I was going to say. Aren't they independent? Because I'm pretty sure I asked this a few episodes ago.
Yeah, it's confusing. I don't know.
You know what's confusing? Why the hell don't they put the names on the frickin' jerseys? That was bothering me all night.
I believe that's a licensing thing. I believe that is actually, I think that's actually why. Because
they don't put the players' names on the backs of their jerseys?
I think that's actually why most teams actually don't do it.
I think most teams do it. Notre Dame is one of them.
Oh, really?
Doesn't.
Yeah.
Notre Dame, I think it's similar to the Yankees, another hated team, so it fits. They just don't, because they're a team, so it's just, I don't know.
Or the fact that the team is permanent, the players are not, because it's college football.
Well,
I mean, I remember there was a time where there was a specific numbering system where you could only have a certain number if you were a certain position, so people watching the game could understand who was where.
They kind of stick to that, but the numbers are a little absurd.
No,
like
certain numbers get retired.
Yeah, they keep getting high, but
I just outed myself in how long it's been since I've actually watched college football. So.
It was a great game. It was one of those games.
Now, was it a great game for you, Jason, or was it a great game?
It was an exciting game to watch.
It was double overtime.
It was close. Yeah, it was double
Jesus.
overtime. The game ended at fucking midnight.
Wow.
And from a parent's point of view, a double overtime game at midnight, it's very hard to not yell and get excited while you're watching sports.
Right.
Meanwhile, my dad and my stepdad and I were a little belligerent by that. At that point, my mom's like, "Would you two calm down?"
What was the final score?
47-40.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Clemson
everybody was
scored...
concerned because Clemson, so we talked about this last week, Clemson didn't have their number one quarterback who is like the guy, the face of college football right now. Because he tested positive.
He's walking himself towards the Heisman, wasn't he?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. But for the second week in a row, he's playing the Jets right now. But for the second week in a row, the freshman, DJ, stepped up and did his job. And for the second week in a row, senior players around this freshman quarterback who's doing his job and filling some really big shoes. No shit, no kidding. Trevor Lawrence is like 6'6". Yeah. And like Travis Etienne fumbled big time. Amari Rodgers fumbled big time. Those are our two biggest offensive weapons. And back-to-back turnovers led to back-to-back touchdowns, mistakes that can't happen. So many mental mistakes, looking up the field before completing the catch, starting to run away before you have the ball. Mental mistakes on a lot of the senior players. And that stuff just can't happen. It happened in the BC game. It happened in the Notre Dame game. They keep shooting themselves in the foot and taking it away from this poor kid who's trying to step up and do his job. And frustrating.
Yeah, Notre Dame went 91 yards in a minute 20 to tie it, and I'm like sitting on the edge of my seat, like,
jeez.
And then Clemson scored first in OT, so Notre Dame got the ball back and scored. So then Notre Dame got the ball, they scored, and then 2 sacks in a row. And I'm like, I'm standing on the edge of my chair, like silently screaming, like, go, go.
That's awesome.
As soon as that game like was tied, I had no faith in Clemson anymore because I was just like, they have not been consistent for the past 2 weeks now. And they are missing a lot of people. Like Trevor is the leader on offense. We're missing our leader on defense as well. Skalski had like a groin surgery or something. Whatever it is, it sounds uncomfortable. But
see, based on that situation, it's one of those. It seems like one of those where it's one of those. It's almost like Mike Tyson losing, where when he lost to Buster Douglas, and it was a gigantic upset. Now I don't think this is that at all, but when the momentum shifts, there's almost no way to get that back. So I feel like in this situation, I don't think if everybody's healthy, everybody's present, and this situation happens, I would still bet on Notre Dame to win if everything happens the same way, because at that point, it's clearly not in the cards for Clemson.
Well, go ahead.
Whereas, like, if everybody's present and Clemson is just doing its run up the score dance on Notre Dame, we know that this comeback doesn't happen.
I mean, I saw it in one spot. I don't know if I believe it, but I forgot who it was, said they're not sure what Lawrence would have done because Clemson's quarterback threw for like 470.
Yeah.
And this is a good Notre Dame defense.
Job.
So, like,
yeah.
Like,
it was on the other players. It had nothing to do with
Etienne fumbled in the first series, and Notre Dame returned it for a touchdown. That's not on the quarterback.
He did that last week, too. He did that last week, too. 2 weeks in a row. He's 2 weeks ago, I would have said he's one of the number one prospects, if not the number one running back prospect for the NFL right now. But NFL coaches are watching this, and he's making some huge back-to-back week mistakes with costly fumbles. And these are not like the ball got punched out fumbles. These are he took his eye off the ball and dropped it out of his hands.
These are I'm at the 40, but I thought I was at the 10 and walking into the end zone.
The best moment, besides Notre Dame winning, there was 2 reviews, and Clemson's coach just fired his headset.
Dabo.
Well, at least it doesn't seem like too much love is lost between y'all, and I'm happy for that. So we know the Giants won. How did your Patriots do?
They're playing right now.
They're playing right now. Oh, okay. How they doing?
My Patriots. I don't want them to be my Patriots.
The Bucs got their ass handed to them. The Bucs look bad.
I mean, oh damn.
Brady had one of the worst games of his career.
And that'll happen when you start to lose a step. I mean, he's 3 years old.
He's admittedly been pretty consistent all season.
Huh?
He's been fine all season. So.
Right, but that doesn't mean I'm not saying he's done, but I'm saying Brady can fade away now. Tom Brady can be Tom Fady for all I care. He can go away. I'm sick of that man.
No longer exists in this house.
His politics too. But my weekend was pretty all right. I wasn't here last week because Monday last week, our recording day, was my wife's birthday. So my original plan was to actually make the show, but we got kind of a late start, and we've been working on changing what was originally my office into a space where we can both work, because, adopting a kid, we might as well start getting a room ready for if and when a kid comes.
I don't need space.
No, I'm not going. I'm not going there. But so we started cleaning that out.
They don't need space because they take all the space. They don't need a designated area. It doesn't matter. They stake that flag and go on.
But so we started cleaning that. We started cleaning that out, and we basically finished it this weekend, and we're ready to start putting all of the furniture we picked up together. And I also got my final parts to my PC this weekend. So now I just have to plan my trip to upstate New York so I can stream with Lee Navarro, who, speaking of which, Extra Life happened this weekend. And our friends who we advertise at the end of every episode, they are almost at 10,000 in this year of COVID-19. So congratulations to them. I could not be happier to be affiliated. I wanted to participate, but by the time I got done with work and home and showered and ready, I couldn't stay up anymore. I was completely done this weekend, and I feel bad that I wasn't able to make it. But I've made some inner sort of resolutions to be more involved with them in 2021 because I want to help sick kids. So yeah, that all happened. And then Reba and I went out to dinner. We had a blast. And then we came home, drank some good beer, and she started watching something on her iPad, and I started rewatching the original Mobile Suit Gundam again because I love it a lot. And yeah, that was my weekend.
Nice.
Yeah. So, do we want to talk about games now, or do we have anything else?
Games sounds like a good.
So, see, we can go. I mean, have y'all had trouble playing stuff the past couple weeks as much as I have?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's been hard to it was like today was the first day I got anything done like game wise. Actually, I played a little bit over the weekend. I'm not gonna lie, but I did play new stuff. So Michaela, have you played anything new?
Yes, sir, I have.
Go right ahead then.
Well, first I'll just get the old out of the way real quick. I played a little more Ori last week. Working on that. That's going to continue to be my current Switch game.
And if I remember from last episode, you're loving that, right?
Yeah, I very much, I love the first Ori. I really like the second Ori. I don't know if it's because of the number of platformers I played last year, because that was the genre I picked to add to my repertoire last year. Or add back into my repertoire, because I played them as a kid, but not so much since then. That's when I played the first Ori, was last year. But this time around, it feels easier. Like the platforming stuff, like the actual like traversing the map feels on par, but so far like the boss fights seem easier to me than the escape sequences. And I don't know if that's just because I have a background in like action combat rather than platforming. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm still in the early game. I'm probably only like a quarter through the game. I don't know, but it does feel a little easier because it is more Metroidvania, like in the action sense than strictly the timed, difficult platforming.
Yeah.
And then for the new, yesterday, I had hoped this game would come earlier last week, but I didn't get it until the weekend. So yesterday, I started Mortal Shell because that released physically last week, a week ago today. So I got the physical edition, and it took from Monday to this weekend to actually get delivered, unfortunately, because I was hoping, since it is a shorter game, I wanted to beat it before the PS5 and Demon's Souls comes out this week. That's not going to happen because I didn't have time to play today, and I only played a little bit last night, so there's no way I can beat it in the next 2 nights. It's a short game, but not quite that short. I'm
actually interested in talking with you about this game because I beat my face against that game for a long time, and I feel like I got nowhere. So, and I almost think it was because I wasn't learning what the game wanted me to learn.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely got a weird learning curve to it because it wears Souls inspiration on its sleeve, but for a Souls player, it still has a bit of a learning curve.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
So how far would you say you are?
Not very. I played for like an hour and a half last night. So I've been around that initial hub area and your first, what do you want to call it? Like shrine place where you've got the like woman who acts basically as your bonfire.
Yeah.
And the big bird thing that kind of clues you into what your ultimate goal will be for the game to collect. I forget what the material is called, but you need to collect a certain material from bosses and bring it to him. And he'll like purify it or something. And he's going to try and free himself because he's like chained to the building. He's got like a mask, almost like a plague mask chained over his bird face.
The bird in the iron mask.
Yes. And that whole area is very, I get the sense that Mortal Shell is very like hub and spoke. So like there's a open starting area and then you can basically follow a path towards its conclusion and it will get increasingly linear as you do so. So I kind of was just poking my head around and as a Souls player, I have always learned to look up. Never in my life have I had to look down so damn much with all the freaking bear traps.
Oh my god.
They don't even make sense. It's just like there's 5 of them in one spot.
Yeah. Someone just said, I'm gonna throw these this way.
And
okay,
yet,
are they good? I don't know where they are, but nobody tell me. And then you can get the enemies to walk over there. Oh, it's weird. It's really
chaos.
Weird.
And yet, I have not seen a single fucking bear. So, why are there so many bear traps? But yeah, definitely a lot of the time I spent with it last night was just getting used to things like the harden mechanic. Which is definitely intriguing, and I am not using it super effectively. I'm just randomly using it.
Me either. I can't figure it out.
I think getting good at harden is the key to the whole game, and so it's just going to take figuring out.
Well, there's a parry too.
Yeah, and the parry window so far seems fairly forgiving.
Which I can't figure it out because every time, like, it's when the thing blinks, you're supposed to parry, right?
When it glows bright red, that means it's unparryable.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
You might have that backwards.
I probably have that backwards.
That explains a lot.
Well then, guess I got to start Mortal Shell again.
Yeah, when that shit glows bright red, it means cannot parry. You gotta get out the way.
So if it doesn't blink, can you parry?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, every parry I attempted last night, I landed. And then if you parry and you have resolve built up from using the harden mechanic, you can riposte. And when you riposte, you A, do a good amount of damage, and B, restore a small amount of health. Which is important. So the parry mechanic's actually really important because it does help you with health management because there is no Estus in this game.
Yeah.
It's on the system where it is, you find the consumable, you use the consumable, it is gone, there is no replacing it, but
it is demon
the farming spots regen after every 5 minutes. So if you know where like a healing mushroom is, you can go back to that spot after 5 minutes and pick it up.
Yeah.
But the other interesting thing about the items in this game is you have to use them to know what they do. Like the item description will not tell you what the thing does until you use it, and it might poison you. So you don't.
I did that. I ate I ate a mushroom that poisoned me.
I did that last night while I was like,
and then I'm walking through it. I'm walking through an area that's like nothing but poison. I'm like, this is fucked. I
was walking through a bog, and this giant fat frog just like slapped me in the face, and I was poisoned. I was like, what the fuck is going?
But
yeah,
when I played the demo, did they carry it over that if you keep eating the poison mushroom, you build up a resistance?
Yes. Yes,
okay.
You increase your familiarity with all consumables. The more you use a consumable, the more you gain familiarity, and the more effective it becomes. Same with healing items.
Yeah.
One thing though, because the essential mechanic of this game, besides hardening, is the shell portion of this, which is cool because also if you die and you pop out of your shell, if you live long enough to get back in your shell, you get your health back and you have another go at it. So you can strategically choose when to get back in your shell too, because it stays, that's what gets left behind when you die for real. So when you come back to like a boss fight, you could have a shell hanging out in the arena and you can leave it there till you need health, type of thing. But because of the way the shells work, it's not necessarily a true RPG style mechanic like you have in Souls. Like true Soulsborne games, or a lot of Souls-like games, you spend points on levels that, you know, increase certain stats and scale with certain weapons. This, you basically got like a finite skill wheel per shell that you find that just unlocks new abilities when you talk to the not Firelink Shrine Lady.
The
definitely,
not Emerald Herald.
Yeah. Welcome home, good shell.
Very good. That's very good.
I thought of it for a whole 0.5 seconds.
Awesome.
But yeah, definitely impressive for an indie game. Visually, graphically, so far, it's held up. I mean, it's nothing that's going to blow your socks off on a next-gen console, but for a small dev to put something like this out, it seems very solid quality. I haven't encountered any major issues or anything like that.
Yeah.
It feels good. The camera was a little extra sensitive, so I just turned that down. One thing, they hid it. They hid it from me. I had to go looking for it for a second because I was panicked. I thought I couldn't invert the controls, but I found it. It's it's in the menu underneath a setting that's like lets you hide or not hide the Ballistazooka. I'm like, what the fuck is a Ballistazooka? Oh my god, I finally found the invert. It's
Why do I not have a Ballistazooka right now?
And I got I tweeted this last night. I got a trophy.
The perfect one. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, the perfect. So if at the very top of your not Firelink Shrine, above the bird guy, there's a merchant and he has a cat. And if you pet the cat, you get a trophy for petting the cat. So
10 out of
obvious
10.
brownie points right there. Giving me a trophy for petting a cat. So I'll take it. But yeah, definitely it's going to be challenging, not necessarily because the game itself is super hard, but the mechanic is going to take a hot minute to learn.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, when I first got that game, I started it and I played it for a solid 2 or 3 days, and I'm like, I don't know what to think, but also I just keep going places. That's my biggest flaw in Souls like games. I just keep walking, and I ended up in a boss arena that clearly I did not belong fighting, or there was a whole bunch of things I hadn't learned yet to get to a place where I could fight that boss, or at least that's how it felt. So I'm like, I think I'm just going to start over. And then I tried to just search around that area, and that area it's like dense and packed with just stuff you don't understand. And then I found the parry thing, and then I actually found the not Firelink lady at a different place other than not Firelink Shrine first.
Yes.
So like I had never, so it's not like I could just go somewhere. And then I eventually found a second shell. And what pissed me off is you have to keep that shell.
I think you can switch.
You can switch later in the game.
You have to go all the way back to not Firelink Shrine.
Yeah, the whole game is trying to bring you back to that, because that's where you when you defeat a boss, you're supposed to bring the thing to the bird guy. So that's like your point of contact anyways. The game is designed around the idea of bringing, whether or not that works, but that's what it's trying to get you to do, is constantly go back there. And if you miss that in the beginning, like if you don't go straight to it, you're not going to have the parry, you're not going to have the direction it gives you, because also there's like insight. So the game is a little confusing because of this hub and spoke model, because usually Dark Souls games, they don't exactly give you a map, but there's usually like 1 or 2 directions you can go at any given time, and then it forks again and again and again. This is just a hub and spoke, and it's like, good luck, pick a direction.
So I mean, it's like Dark Souls 2.
Insight things, and if you look at these insight things, it'll give you a vision of certain landmarks that you'll see as indicators on how to get to shells and weapon types, and those are in the not Firelink Shrine place. So if you miss that, you're gonna have absolutely no direction at all whatsoever.
Yeah. And then the there's no fast traveling for a very long time, as far as I know.
Yeah, well, there's very few concrete, like, bonfire save points, even, because those ladies are it.
Yeah.
And there's, like, only a few of them, so far as I know.
It's a weird game.
It is weird.
It's intriguing.
It is intriguing. I don't know that I will fall in love with it, but I will enjoy it for the most part until it starts to piss me off if there's too many more bear traps.
Yeah. I mean, it comes off to me as, and this is a weird analogy, but I'm here anyway. It comes off to me as like super, super highbrow, avant-garde musicians trying to do traditional music. And by traditional, I mean like, you know, your pop, your rock, your R&B. But like, imagine Brian Eno, you know, a man who spent 50 years in the ambient space, just all of a sudden going to be like, yeah, I'm going to do a disco album. I feel like it would be as weird in reference to disco as Mortal Shell is in reference to Dark Souls. Yeah, like I don't think I love it, but I don't hate it, and I don't want it to beat me. Ultimately.
Good point. Yeah. I'm playing it because, and I was talking to Jason about this before we started. I'm playing it because I am interested, but also for the specific reason of, if you guys are still interested, maybe in January, I am still planning on doing that article about Soulsborne, Souls-like, and Souls-light games.
Okay.
And this is one of the games that I wanted to have played and experienced for the purposes of that article, and you guys had maybe talked about
yeah. Oh no. Here. Yeah. Oh yeah. I made a dumb statement a couple episodes ago. You should check that out.
Is it the one where you became Kermit the Frog? Because I blacked that out.
No. No, it was like, I'm like, this is probably the dumbest thing I've ever said in reference to Souls games, but aren't they basically 3D Metroidvanias?
Yes.
and
I remember that.
And Jason's or Moose is like, wait, you just figured this out?
That's like been an established thing.
Well, and because I had Platinum Salt and Sanctuary at the time, I'm like realizing, oh, wait a minute. That makes so much sense. But then like also we realized that, you know, Jason and Moose both had their like weird realizations super late. Like Moose realized, oh, Dark Souls story is basically the same. You can either light the fire or not.
Yep.
And Jason was like, I was today years old when I learned the moon presence is basically an alien. So.
Yep, I remember this.
So,
yep. But then the Kermit the Frog erased my memory. So.
Yes, Kermit the my bad Kermit the Frog impression.
Actually, it was so good, it made my skin crawl.
Thanks.
It was spot on creepy.
Don't
Great.
do it.
You have a future in Muppets.
I know. I will not step to royalty. I'm not going to do the impression. Jason, calm down. It's not going to happen. I realized that I could, and it would be super duper low hanging fruit, but I'm not going to do that today. Are you playing anything else, Michaela?
No, it was those two.
Okay. Jason.
No more Outer Worlds?
Not this. I have not had a lot of time for gaming. Had a lot of family stuff going on, so I've been lucky if I play like 4 hours total.
And I know you were waiting for Mortal Shell, so.
I was so mad that it didn't come earlier because I wasn't here this weekend. I went to see family to watch the game we won't talk about anymore.
Oh, Clemson versus Notre Dame?
Good job.
If I can't do my Kermit impression, I will be stupid in other ways. I will find ways. Jason. How many
He has to
reviews?
sip every time we talk about it.
Well, I beat again Cthulhu Saves Christmas. I'm thinking this is my holiday game. It's gonna be like everyone has like holiday movies. This game I think could be my every year early holiday, but I can move it around. It's a really good. I really enjoy this game. It's not a long game by any means, and it was nice playing on the Switch. I don't. Any RPG I've ever played on PC, it's not the same. I feel like I need to be able to just. I felt I was that way with the Vita too. Like if it was on PS3 or 4 and Vita was my preference. So Switch is also. I just feel it's one of those things I can play a little, stop. Like PC just feels so. I don't know. It just doesn't feel right.
Right.
But I enjoyed it just as much as I did on PC, maybe more. I started season 2 of Borderlands 3. I started the arms race tonight. So it's basically PUBG, Fortnite, Call of Duty, basically all the battle royales, kind of, but it's up to 4 players, but you could do solo. You're dropped in. It's Axton and Salvador host this game show.
Oh, geez.
And you start
with Axton. Is Axton from Borderlands 2?
2. Yep.
Salvador is as well, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, continue.
You start with nothing. Like literally, you're unarmed.
Okay.
And there's their version of the storm, it's Borderlands, so it's called the Murder Cane for Murder Hurricane. And as you defeat enemies, weapons drop. If legendaries drop, you can either extract them or beat the final boss and extract them. But like there's small stops you can make extractions. And
so this is a PvE event?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's not easy by any means. Like the first 3 runs, I died on the first enemy. And then I realized, oh, okay. Because you can actually find weapons without killing enemies. It just depends on where you drop. I have to look. I was playing on Mayhem 10. I don't know if that affects it. Because you can't really change your Mayhem level in there. You might have to change it before.
Okay.
But playing on, it doesn't make sense for me because I want Mayhem 10 gear.
Right.
So it wouldn't make sense to play on a I might play on a lesser one just to see it to the end. I did get to the final boss. Well, one of the bosses right before, but then
are there new trophies for this?
I don't know if there's trophies for arms race. It didn't look like there are.
Okay.
I actually didn't even look if there's new trophies. I know there's 2 more DLC coming. My guess is there'd be trophies for those like the other DLC. But there are a new skill tree for each character. Like they have a 4th now. There's some new skins. It was, I mean, I love Borderlands, so it was worth it for me. I'll have to experiment with the skill trees. And I'm excited because it's got the next gen upgrade this week, tomorrow for Xbox, and Thursday for PlayStation. But the main game I've been playing is Watch Dogs Legion.
Okay. How's Murder Grandma?
Murder Grandma is good.
Cool.
My Murder Grandma is a hitwoman.
Awesome.
I'm almost done. I have like 3 story missions left and like 4 or 5 like of the tedious trophies. I kind of want to finish them so I can just beat the game and get the platinum. This is my first full Watch Dogs games. I briefly played one, maybe for an hour and a half, mainly to help Jeff with the co-op trophies. Didn't play 2 at all. So this is my first one. I haven't had any issues. Apparently, the PlayStation version's the best version, meaning error-free. PC and even Xbox have had a slew. I mean, we talked about it last week. Ubisoft games are not designed for PC, but apparently the Xbox has had tons of issues.
I would guess the Xbox version would be closer to the PC version than the PS4 one, so not totally surprising.
I will say, the further along in the game, you kind of just do things automatic and like you don't switch characters as much. Like you don't have to. Like there was in the story, there was 2 times I had to. The story forced me to change characters out. But other than that, you can kind of stick to the character you want, which is nice in a way, not forcing you, but it's like you made such a big deal about the different characters. It is cool though what you can switch, but I found a lot my gear loadout would be the same. Like there's not the differences between the different characters. It's not you can kind of make them all similar. Like the hit woman, she does different takedowns. So they all do takedowns, and it just varies based on the character. Like there's one who has a shock taser, so her takedowns usually involve like kicking a guy in the nuts and then tasing him.
Like you do.
Yeah. One of my characters, if you do a takedown from the front, will actually do a stone cold stunner.
All right.
Just like you distract the guy, walk up to him, and then I kind of want to just have glass breaking every time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The Hitman, though, kind of acts like John Wick. It's very like ballet-esque. Like they'll like flip the guy over, shoot him, grab another guy, shoot 3 bullets into the chest. Like it's very graceful and like violent. But I see what the complaints are because you can play as. I'm just gonna play as this character and play through the game.
Right.
Like the game didn't force you to, but you kind of don't want them to. But you kind of wanted more missions where you had to.
Okay.
Like yeah, like you can.
So does it feel like less curated or?
Yeah, like so like if you recruit a construction worker, you can gain access to a construction site, but it's almost less than Hitman. Like you would think if you're a construction worker, you can walk around freely. It really just gains you access to the site. Like if you're a cop, you gain access to the police department, well, the facility. Like, but then you can be recognized immediately. Like in Hitman, you can't just walk around. Yeah, like Hitman. I mean, you've played more Hitman than both of me and Michaela combined. But like, if you have the right uniform on and you don't do anything, nobody's bothering you.
Yeah, like people will look at you and be like, "Who are you?" But then you can just sort of you can casually get up and just walk away. Whereas if you sprint, all of a sudden, they're suspicious.
Yeah, the difference here, like you can enter. You do get a longer window to avoid detection. So like a guard may check you out, but it won't be an immediate, like if you turn the corner, you can kind of get away. Okay. But you could do all those missions except for, well, one in particular you couldn't, but most of them you could just sneak through without the uniform. So I felt like the freedom to not play as that was cool, but I'd want more missions where you had to, maybe. Mm-hmm. Kind of a toss-up, like. And then I found myself using the same gadgets. Okay. Just because I got better with one than the others, and I was like, no, I'm just going to go this way. Yeah. I think they did an excellent job. Like the recruitment, the process of recruiting characters was really cool. Like you'd find some like street artist who is being hustled by the police. Like they won't like arrest him if he helps them do favors. So you kind of have to find the cop who's blackmailing him, handle something for them, and then kind of reassure the street artists that they won't be bothered and they'll like join you. So it's a whole process. It's not just, oh, I want to play as this character. So I thought that was cool, but
Okay.
I'm having fun. Definitely enjoy the game.
Okay.
I'd like to go back. I mean, Jeff told me go back to 2. 1 I might not enjoy. 2 is very similar to this one.
Yeah,
So,
I've heard that like if they did like people don't see how they could have done another Watch Dogs with the cast of 2, or maybe I might be misremembering that, but maybe they would prefer another with the cast of Watch Dogs 2, because it seemed like that one was more well liked than the first one. But I've heard a lot of. I'm basically like what you're saying. Like I've heard a lot of mixed things on this. Like there's definitely good parts, but the bad parts aren't necessarily bad. They just wish they, fleshed out the good stuff a little more.
I will say 30 hours in, I still get into the vehicles on the wrong side of the car.
Do you drive on the wrong side of the road?
Oh, that's on purpose. There's no.
I mean, look, as someone who's played a lot of Grand Theft Auto in my time, I drove in the wrong side of the road in that game, and those are based in the country I grew up in. So yeah.
No. Yeah, like there's a lot of times like there's the I can't think of what it's called, but there's that around Big Ben, there's like that huge circle. I'm not following this. We're just gonna cut across.
Yeah.
But yeah, constantly get in the wrong side of the car. It was like, oh yeah. And then you get out and like you're like, no, wrong side.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's fun. It's definitely I mean I'm 30 something hours in. It's definitely worth it. But maybe it's kind of ho-hum. It's not bad like you said, but it's got its moments, but it doesn't really shine. It's fun,
Right.
but it's
Sometimes that's all a game needs to be. It's fun. It's different. It's it's just something to jump into and enjoy. And with Ubisoft, their games go on sale before they're even out, so you might as well pick it up when it's down. Mine was $40.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the platinum's a little tedious. And
Sounds
then
about right. It's a Ubisoft game.
It can't be as bad as the new Assassin's Creed Platinums. It can't be. I Platinumed Origins. That shit took me 140 hours.
Well, yeah, I think that's just the amount of content. But like the Division 2 Platinum, pretty tedious.
It's tedious also in the way that there's 3 major collectibles you have to do. You have to drink at every bar, play darts in every bar.
Wait, in London?
Yeah. But hold on.
There's a bar on every corner.
And you have to do
No, none of those randomly generated characters, their livers will not last.
Hold on. And you have to do graffiti at there's markers. The game doesn't track what you've done.
I don't like that.
Oh, that's bad.
Get this. Jeff was telling me once he finished all the drinking, all the markers for the spots to drink then disappear. What point is that?
What the fuck?
All the darts that you have to, so basically you check them off, but the game doesn't represent that they're checked off till you're done. It's like, that's not helpful.
That sounds like something that they would patch. That sounds like something they will patch, because I remember literally within a week or two of when I finished the AC Origins Platinum, they patched something into the map to make it easier to find like the question marks and shit that you hadn't done yet for the points of interest. I was like, what?
And then supposedly there's a glitch. We didn't test it because I didn't want to deal with it. If you don't use the same character for this task, like if you drink at I think it's 21 pubs. If you don't use one character for all of that, it might not trigger the trophy. Which doesn't make sense this is a game that kind of
fuck that.
encouraged you to play as multiple
characters, yeah.
That sounds like something they'll fix, but that's annoying for right now.
Mm-hmm.
The permadeath is, and for anyone playing it, I'd recommend playing on permadeath because it kind of, I don't know, it adds a challenge because then you have to recruit new people if you lose.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like 4 characters you need for specific trophies. Like you have to do specific, like if you find the street artist, they have a paintball gun. You have to get like 10 headshots with the paintball gun. But you could find them. But like playing with permadeath, you it adds a challenge to it. Because otherwise they go to the hospital, you wait 1 hour in-game time, and they're back.
Okay.
But I'm definitely glad I played it. It's fun. I mean, I'm glad I didn't have the issues that PC or Xbox had. I mean, I had 2 crashes, but nothing. I had your standard Ubisoft bugs.
Yeah.
Control the car, and all of a sudden it's in midair. Just randomly.
Awesome.
Like, oh, hello.
Just as long as you don't get any skinwalkers. My biggest fear with Ubisoft games is when they just like don't have faces and it's just like skin pulled over like the shape of a face. No, thank you.
And it's your traditional British like bad language, so it's kind of amusing.
What everybody's saying, cunt a lot, or
I think I heard that. I heard a lot of twats.
Okay, yeah, twat. They say twat a lot.
I think I've heard more in this game than every game I've ever played.
Did they say numpty or?
And then they just say things and you don't like. I'm constantly hearing like, "mom," but it's mum. I'm like,
yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But that's also like ma'am in some respect. Mm-hmm. I think.
And I will say that, but it's an Ubisoft game. The voice acting was good, but the voice acting didn't match the facial expressions. So it was kind of like Horizon Zero Dawn before the first patch. So people would be talking, their lips are moving, the words do not match. And it's like,
the Ubisoft Kung Fu flick.
Kind of, yeah. And then when you get the Jamaican guy with the slightly English accent, you're like, oh, who's talking? But yeah, no, it's definitely they fleshed out all the possible characters. Like they're not one's the same. There even was that, I don't know if you guys read about the glitch where it generated a pediatrician who left their position because they had a personal relationship with a patient. And at first you're like, then you're like, wait a minute. Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh.
Was the game rated?
But like,
no.
But like, I thought what was cool is each person you recruit had one of those little blurbs, but it had nothing to do with. It was more like Google the following phrase, or like it was just like a little background. It didn't have anything to, but it kind of added like uniqueness to the characters. So
there was an old few years ago when this was announced. Chris Plant from Polygon was on the Giant Bomb late night show at E3, and he said that in Watch Dogs 2, there was a news vendor who was named Chris Plant in Watch Dogs. Now, Chris Plant, the news vendor, was butthurt, and and his interests were hemorrhoid cream. Now, Chris Plant from Polygon on the Giant Bomb show said, "What Ubisoft? I know you're watching. Put Chris Plant in Watch Dogs 3 and have a side quest for him to find the hemorrhoid cream." I kind of want to play Watch Dogs 3 just to see if that happens, but I will be very angry if it's not there. So I'm like, not going to play Watch Dogs 3. Or I might, if it's like on sale or PS Plus or whatever. But in its defense, I will say that this is the first one of these that has sort of had me go, and it all goes back to Murder Grandma.
Yeah, I mean, and like my last thing is I can't speak to the other games, but I felt the using tech felt very good control-wise. Like you're driving, you can easily like trigger other cars to like make turns, like kind of cause traffic jams, opening gates with like hacking. I felt good. I mean, there was a few puzzles, but like a lot of stuff on the fly felt good.
All right. So have you played anything else?
Nope. I did buy The Pathless. It's going to be my first PS5 game. It's Annapurna.
Yeah, I'm excited.
It looks really cool. I'm a sucker for a bow and arrow too.
Dude.
So.
Looks really unique too with the gameplay.
It's the same guy. I mean, it's the same team that did Abzu, and I played Abzu for maybe a half hour, but the half hour I played it, I'm like, man, I'm gonna come back to this, and I never did. So I got to go back to that. But yeah, that game looks really cool. Looks like Breath of the Wild on rollerblades with a bow and arrow,
and a bird.
And a bird.
And you could pet the bird, I think.
And you could pet the bird. Speaking of
pet, a next gen requirement, you have to be able to pet some sort of animal. It's where the gaming.
That has run through the gaming industry, because I mean, people on podcasts or on bigger podcasts like GameSpot or Giant Bomb, or I think the Waypoint guys have done it too, where they're like, if there's any sort of pet, they go, well, can you pet it? Because what's that Twitter account going to do if you can't pet? It's going to be like, no, you can't pet the dog in this game. You can't pet the pet in this game.
It's bad press.
And people are going to be like, well, I want to pet the pet. I know, Bagel. I know. People are they got to be able to pet stuff, right? Yeah, I know. You want to come in my lap? Okay, hang on one second. Oh no, you don't want to. Never mind. All right, cool. So, or are you? I think I need to deal with this. Give me 1 second. I will be back shortly.
Bagel. There are no animals in Watch Dogs, and the game's called the Watch Dogs.
They got rid of all the animals in London. Is that what happened in Brexit? They just got yeeted.
That's your weekly quote. Wow.
I'm not proud of myself.
No.
You know what else is great? I'm checking on my phone. The Pats are losing to the Jets.
No, I definitely recommend the game. It's
I'm
enjoyable.
Excited.
I mean, you have it, so.
Yep. Gonna play it when we get through the craziness that is the next month or so, whatever's going on.
It's a decent length. It's probably, if you just mainline it, you probably could do it in under 20, but I'd say 20 to 25.
I'd say probably, like, because nobody's just, like, at least I won't just mainline. I'm going to say at least 30, 35, probably. The way I tend to play stuff.
Yeah, I did find there's nothing, there's no gating. So you can beat the game. Just like you can go ahead and, like, I know both me and Jeff had played it in a way. We conquered all the boroughs. There's 8 of them. As you do it, like London becomes more defiant. You unlock stuff, but you can kind of do that within the first couple hours. And then it's like, you get like, you're basically kind of OP in a way. Like you unlock these extra skill, like recruits, and so it's it's really open world. It's like Breath of the Wild where I just want to beat the game right now.
Yeah, that's the one thing everybody says. It's super sandboxy. Super sandboxy.
Matt, you missed the best. We've got the quote of the week.
Wait, who's running the table on monkeys now?
I said there's no animals to pet. Not that you can't pet the dog. There's literally no. She's like, is that what happened in Brexit? They all just yeeted?
Apparently. Apparently. It's like the unexplained emptiness in the Arkham games where they're just like, oh, but it's Christmas Eve, so of course nobody's gonna be out. So I think we're to me now. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I played some games remarkably not as much as a 2-week absence should warrant, but I did play some games. We got Reba another platinum trophy. She now has the Guacamelee Platinum Trophy, which the name of that trophy, ironically, Guacamelee Platinum Trophy. So
classic.
Congratulations. That was fun and frustrating and challenging and rewarding all at the same time. I finished Paradise Killer on Switch.
Nice.
And let me tell you, my friends, this game is fucking good. Really, the DNA of it is, I mean, it's definitely born from games like Dear Esther, Gone Home, Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, Tacoma, things like that. But instead of walking around a world and just sort of being told a story, you're kind of digging your way through it. I know I talked about this a few weeks ago, but I'll try not to revisit too much here. But you are cast as Lady Love Dies, an exiled detective from Paradise. Paradise 24, I believe is what it's called. The reason it's called 24 is because it is an island sequence that has been remade 24 times, and it is about to be remade again as the cycle just happens. It's kind of like Dark City or Metropolis, but without the dark sci-fi overtones. It's very neon, it's very bright, it's very technicolor. But you've been exiled for 3 million days, and the council of the syndicate, which is essentially a bunch of immortal beings, the council has all been murdered, and you are the member of the syndicate that is dubbed the Investigation Freak. So as an immortal being, you are like Athena being she's the goddess of wisdom, or Artemis, the goddess of the hunt. Like, you are the goddess of investigation, essentially. You have to figure out who done it. Well, you meet a very bright and interesting cast of characters, all with pretty good to fantastic names. One of them is named Witness to the End. And that's like a cool name, but his role on the island is to oversee the end of each island, so it's like appropriate.
It'd be great if Witness to the End's only lines were, "I saw nothing."
Well, he turns into, he's been gripped by the religious fundamentalist bug, and he's very like, must appease the gods. So very doom and gloom out of Witness to the End. But then there's Carmelina Silence, who is the architect of each island. She is the RNG behind each Paradise's look. Lydia Daybreak is the person who's your fast travel, as well as she's like the driver around the island. Yuri Knight is a notorious prick and easily one of your immediate top 3 suspects. But this game is fucking phenomenal. It's very much in the vein of Outer Wilds in how it catalogs information for you. Like I found myself getting a very similar putting pieces of information together like I did in that game last year. But every time I thought, okay, I am wrapping this up. I am ready to go. I'm ready to start constructing my truth for the judge. All of a sudden, I would turn a corner and see something and be like, what the fuck is this? And then information would pop up in my little Starlight computer. Oh yeah, your computer is Starlight, by the way. And all of a sudden, everything sort of repopulates and you have to go all over the island asking people for stuff again. This game is really cool. I think, like, as much as I've been talking about it, I know I've been on Twitter like saying, hey, y'all should play Paradise Killer. That's more because like I think this game is impressive as a debut. Not because this is not only showing good ideas, it's showing good skill with narrative and character design and world design, but it's also showing a team that set out to make something, made it, and then made it with a swagger and a confidence you don't. It's like it's almost like when LeBron James came to the NBA and started saying, yeah, I think I'm the best of all time. Where, you know, he showed up and made an immediate impact and was doing all these wonderful things. Like, that's what Kaizen Gameworks has done here. Now, do I think their next game will be a masterpiece? No, but I'm definitely going to be looking for it because I don't want to put that kind of pressure on them. This game is wonderful, and I think my favorite part of it is definitely the soundtrack. I think this is when Chris Har was on the show. Like, I talked about the soundtracks and I pre-ordered it on vinyl, and it never. I know there's a lot of songs you hear over and over and over in the game, but none of them ever got old. Michaela, I don't think you were here when I talked about this game. If you like the music in the Persona games, check out the music for Paradise Killer because it's very there is some Persona ass music happening here. I don't think it's as fully realized as Shoji Meguro's soundtracks are, but it's still worth your time.
Yeah, I'll check it out. I do like me some Persona music.
I figured as such. I did play something kind of old today. I mean, I have been kind of jumping back into Monster Hunter because Ahmed and I have been co-oping that. But I actually re-downloaded fucking Far Cry 5 because he said he wants to platinum. You want to talk about a game that has really good mechanics, but it's just fucking bad. Far Cry 5. we were going through the beginning today, and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot. And he's like, what'd you forget? I forgot this is the best part of the game. And he's like, what do you mean? We just started. I go, yeah, that's what you're in for. You are in for some bullshit, let me tell you. Because
I enjoyed it. I mean, I have the platinum, but I know exactly what it doesn't feel, it's not floaty control-wise, but it doesn't feel.
I mean, I actually think the mechanics in it are pretty sound. Like, I don't play video games to feel like I don't need to immerse myself in the Call of Duty murder boy fantasy. I don't need to be I'm going to run through Hope County just killing everything because that's who I really am as a person. I'm really just there to just wander around the world and get into some bullshit. And apparently Far Cry 5, still very good at that. Now, what that bullshit is in service of is just not great. I forgot how stupid Joseph Seed's idiot siblings are, and I forgot how absolutely terrible his stuff is. But the mechanics in that game are pretty good. We decided to get in a plane and try and get to a point. Well, anyway, if you get too far away from your co-op partner, it basically teleports them to you. But if you are player 2 and you are driving the plane like I was, it teleports you to player 1 and puts player 1 in the plane's driver's seat. And and he's like, I don't know what the controls are. I'm like, it's basically like driving a car in GTA. It's fine. So we decided we were going to land. And did I mention that he and I are both wearing astronaut suits from the DLC? So you've got 2 people dressed like NASA astronauts in a biplane in Montana, and they're heading towards this not runway looking stretch of just open land to land this plane. Well, Ahmed hits a tree and the plane does a barrel roll. It does like 4 of them, to the point where Ahmed and I are both actually kind of going, whoa, what's going to happen? We're waiting for it to explode. Lands perfectly on 3 wheels. We get out and basically go do the mission. But that was one of the funniest things I've ever experienced in a video game, probably since Just Cause 3, when I was doing that, when the world is empty and it's loading in, and I found a way to kill myself without any enemies around. That's something.
Yeah, Far Cry 5 it's definitely more enjoyable co-op.
Yeah, like we did. Oh, and we see, he said he likes to platinum use, but he likes to get 100%. So he bought all the DLC, and he's like, "Would you go through the DLC with me?" I'm like, "Fucking fine, I'll buy the DLC." You could start with the DLC weapons. So we started with laser weapons.
I still haven't played. I don't actually own the DLC.
Well, if you get the season pass, it's $30, but it's on sale right now. You can get all 3 of them for $20 without getting the season pass. So if you're thinking about it,
yeah, because the season pass also comes with Far Cry 3.
Yeah, I already have that though. I had that from something else. Anyway, so we started, dealing with everything involved in Far Cry 5 with laser weapons, and that pisses everybody off really fast. So you get your alert level up with whatever siblings territory you're in. I think within 3 missions of that game, we had them coming after us with their stupid bliss bullets, and I had this laser pistol that basically was a grenade launcher. So every time I shot whatever vehicle they were in, it just exploded. So we would be just trying to do missions, and they're like, hit him with the bliss. And I'm like, do what you're doing. I got this. Boom, explosion. And we just keep moving. Well, eventually they caught us, and then we had to listen to those assholes speak. But that was fun.
Is 5 or New Dawn the one with the obnoxious multiplayer?
5. It's 5.
That's the worst.
Yeah, doing all the Far Cry arcade, whatever.
Yeah, but those multiplayer matches, finding and then trying to complete them, and it's like,
yeah, they're dumb. I'm like, yeah, you're on your own on that one.
They control bad. They just,
yeah, they're terrible. They're terrible. It's just like, let's try and find a way to make the worst UGC ever.
Easy platinum, so other than that.
Yeah, I'm like, this platinum won't be hard for Ahmed. He's pretty good at a first person shooter. But yeah, the last game I'm going to talk about, and this is the one that I haven't spent the most time with, but man, this made a fucking good impression on me. 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim. It's the new Vanillaware game. I'm going to call it Neon Genesis E Vanillaware, because these are emo teens in giant robots for reasons they don't understand, and it's a very pretty game. The mech sequences that I've played, I'm still very early. Like, I think I'm just about to finish the tutorial, but the mech sequences seem very strategy oriented, where prior games from Vanillaware have been either side-scrolling platformers with beat 'em up elements, specifically Dragon's Crown, which was a really good side-scrolling beat 'em up. This game's cool. It centers around freshmen and high school age kids, and you experience each of their stories like in chunks, and I'm still going through everybody's prologue, but I really
start with
do
the
like
blonde
it.
chick, right? The first mech sequence, blonde chick.
Yes.
I can't remember. Yeah, I've probably
Yes.
played about as much as you did so far, but it was back when
Mhm.
it came out at the end of September, and I decided
Mhm.
I don't have time to give this the attention I want to right now, so I'm definitely going back to it. But yeah, that game is fucking pretty.
I mean, I'm probably going to be talking about it I'll probably mention it for the next few weeks, because I don't know. I haven't experienced, as far as I know, I haven't experienced all of the characters yet, but the ones I have all been like pretty lovable. And they, it's very painterly anime aesthetic. I mean,
The lighting almost reminds me of Octopath Traveler, the way the lighting's done in that game. It's very pretty, soft, golden light.
Yeah, that's Vanillaware's milieu. Like that's industry standard Vanillaware. I mean, the still scenes in Dragon's Crown were that, the story and dialogue scenes in Muramasa were that. It's been too long since I've played Odin Sphere, and I need to go back to that. But yeah, that's what they do. I will say this one's less problematic than prior installments of Vanillaware games have been. Like, if you're thinking about Dragon's Crown, there's no giant sorceress with bouncy boobs. There's no hunter showing way too much leg. And there's no real like anime waifu tropes yet.
How dare
Granted, when the teenagers are in the mechs, they do make it a point to say they're naked.
They are naked. You can even sort of tell, because when they're in the mechs, there's a little character like avatar talking to them.
It's basically, it looks like the Metal Gear Solid Codex dialogues things or whatever.
You wouldn't strip down before getting into a mech?
No, you're just suddenly naked in the mech.
I mean, if Gundam has taught me anything, there's a specific suit you need to be wearing when you're going to go into space for a mech. But these kids, they're just raw dogging it in these mechs. So
it gave me an immediate Darling in the Franxx vibe, because I was like, is this gonna get weird? I don't want it to get weird. What is this rated? Hold on.
I mean, I remember early on in my time with Dragon's Crown, and I want to start playing it again because I know Reba likes. Reba and I have started talking about what games we're going to play together, and I suggested, I've suggested like puzzle games and stuff, and she's actually uttered the phrase, when I'm playing a game, I kind of want to just I want to beat shit up. I want to make sure I am handling my business. I'm like, okay, well, I've got plenty of beat 'em up games. We did start River City Girls, but we didn't really play a lot of it because she's like, no, I don't want to play. We did Guacamelee. I'm kind of done. I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. But then I showed her Dragon's Crown. I showed her Streets of Rage 4. I showed her more of River City Girls with me playing solo, and she's going to make her decision based off on that. But originally in my time with Dragon's Crown, I'm like, is this gonna go somewhere, or is this just gonna be, bouncy boobs the entire stretch? And it's just bouncy boobs the entire stretch. And it got a little awkward towards the end of my time with Dragon's Crown. I was very glad when I didn't have to see them anymore. But I haven't gotten to any of the, if there's any problematic shit in this one, at least in terms of like objectifying women and objectifying just people in general, I haven't gotten to it yet. But the early impressions on these characters talking, all of them seem to have the beginnings of what could be an interesting story and an interestingly woven narrative. So I am, as of right now, still down for it. So I am excited to keep playing it. And yeah, that's it for me. So N7 Day happened.
Mm-hmm.
And they announced what everybody has wanted for what seems like 40 years. There's going to be a Mass Effect trilogy remaster.
Easy money.
And I, for one, am excited to play Mass Effect 1 again. And then not play 2 or 3, just like I did the first time around.
I've never played any.
I mean... And I haven't played 1 since it was released, so it's not like I'm going to sit here and be like, yes, this is the best one, of course. But like this, I think I maybe played 10 minutes of 2, and I was like, I don't want to do this. But 1 I genuinely loved. I don't know what else happened this past week other than, the election. And
that kind of overshadowed a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, the reviews came in for next gen.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, people are talking positive and negative about both. It seems like.
I've seen mostly positive, but I'm avoiding reviews until they're out.
From what I've heard, and this is not me as a fanboy, people are saying that the step up for PS5 seems greater than the Xbox because you can't experience what the Xbox really has to offer because it comes down to the exclusives again. Like, people can argue like, oh, you don't need them, but you do. To playing a last gen game is not going to showcase what a machine can do. Like, if it ran on a last gen, it's going to run, but it's not going to highlight any of them. I mean, I hear quick resume is fantastic.
Okay.
I think ACG said he was quick resuming by accident. It was happening so fast.
Yeah.
Interesting
Also,
to have.
getting Disney Plus. They're adding Disney Plus to their service. Like, how they add like free media.
Is that what they announced?
I think it's Disney Plus, yeah.
Okay, because they had that teaser like.
Wait.
They tweeted a picture of Baby Yoda or something.
What
they
happened?
They had a picture of the Mandalorian and Baby Yoda, and it says like it was some teaser.
They said like we're tweeting this for a reason.
Yeah, so I don't. If it got added in or
something. So they haven't confirmed it, or
No, I believe
I actually don't.
I think they have. I'd have to double check that.
Go ahead, double check it. I'll wait.
But yeah, I mean, positive reviews for both. I know PlayStation, there was a few negatives, like you can't load PS5 games on external hard drives as of now, but then they confirmed today that will be a later patch. It makes sense in that they'd want you to play the PS5 games on the SSD. The SSD, like. So I get that in a sense, but I get the counter to that argument. The SSD is not exactly that spacious. I mean, it's more than the Series S kind of Xbox kind of robbed people because the memory's so low from what I hear that people are buying the expansion and it's basically costing them an Xbox Series X at that point. And it's like, what the hell just happened there?
So
I
much
think
what
it's like
we're doing.
I think
Also,
it's like
by the way,
Capitalism happened there. That's what
I think
that
it's like
is.
300. I think it's like 300 gigs only,
yeah.
which
Also,
is
can
half
confirm.
the PS5.
Yeah,
Jesus.
Game Pass subscribers get 1 month free of Disney Plus, which sounds nice, but Disney Plus is like half the price of Netflix, so it's really you're not saving much there.
Yeah. Well, you're not saving much, but hey, that's free binging The Mandalorian.
Yeah, I wonder if you can hold off on redeeming it and then wait till it's all out and then.
I don't know how it works, or if it's just now if you already have it. I don't know.
I don't know.
But yeah, overall, both systems positive. People, I've heard glowing reviews about the DualSense controller. People are blown away by it. It's got the same battery life as a DualShock 4.
That concerns me. It doesn't mean the same battery life that Sony says a DualShock 4 has, or actually what the DualShock 4 has. That's my question. We won't know till we have them in our hands and we're playing with it, because some of my DualShocks are good for like 5-6 hours, and some of them are good for like 3 hours.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
and all on the same settings. I mean, like not like one controller has the light turned off and the other one doesn't. I'm like, oh, why is this one dying faster? No, I'm not an idiot, but like,
main takeaway.
No, you're not me.
Feels,
you're not me. I'd do that shit. I'd be that dumbass.
The main takeaway from it is it feels good.
Mm-hmm.
Like people like how it feels and plays.
I like that it's a heavier, sturdier controller with a bit more of the rounded shape to it. It looks like a more natural grip for your hands than what the DualShock is, which is kind of like, especially if you like play with it a little bit, you can hear the plastic groaning for a DualShock. It's a very light controller.
Yeah.
I think we mentioned it, but Bug Snacks will be free on
PS
Thursday.
Plus, yes, I believe. Only for PS Plus subscribers. I think you have to be. Bug Snacks.
Which some people are not happy with that game.
It gives me nightmares, and I've never played it.
Like I'm a fan of the site Uppercut Crit, and Ty, the person who I think they are the editor-in-chief of Uppercut. Well, they wrote a review and weren't too thrilled with it. It was very wonderfully written and kind of unearthed some things that that the marketing for that game certainly did not really disclose.
What are you talking about?
So they didn't spoil the game per se, but they did offer up what the actual story is, and it kind of seems dumb. I mean,
should have told you that looking at it.
But see, Jason, like you look at a game like, come on, let's talk about any adorable thing in the history of human civilization, and like 98% of those, the stories are kind of dog shit. Like not every adorable thing ends up with Toy Story amounts of feels. Let's talk about The Incredibles and how dog shit that movie is. But I feel like if I say that, I'm going to be attacked because I'm severely in a minority with that particular film.
Yeah, the villains are terrible.
Exactly. Like it's all dumb. But Ty's review at Uppercut is well written, and it's nice that there was someone out there who shed a little bit more light on maybe this isn't the nice, warm, wholesome package you want.
No, I'm telling you, this thing's been creeping me out since day one. The minute the trailer started, I had the creepy feels. I got wigged out. I was like, nah, this is not okay.
It's interesting because the major media seem to review it. Maybe they just left the story part out, but they liked it. They didn't love it. It's
well, but that turns into the, that could be. I didn't read IGN or GameSpot or Polygon. Ty's is the only review I've read of it. not because it's not really a choice. It's just because I didn't really go searching. I was looking at Twitter, saw it. I'm like, oh, Tyrant review on Uppercut of Bugsnax. I'm going to read that. I read that and I retweeted it because it is well written. But it really kind of deflated me on Bugsnax now.
Well, you'll have it for free if you ever get
right.
PS5. So, I mean, I mean, look at Valhalla. People are absolutely loving it.
People are over the moon over that. I'm like, what?
I'm really excited for that one.
But ACG's review, he said, wait for sale or even a deep sale.
But what is it? What is ACG's?
Well, there was a lot of technical stuff. There was stuff that was
it's
just
Ubisoft.
No, but what's his history with the Creed though? Yes, I just call.
I think
I call it Assassin's Creed.
I usually call it Ass Creed.
No, yeah,
right. That's usually what I do too.
I believe he really liked both Origins and Odyssey a lot.
Okay,
yeah, he did.
Like he does these. If he really likes the game, he does these walk the walk where he talks about like the setting and like the environment and like he just kind of does like the story mode and kind of takes people through it. It was just interesting to hear because usually he's kind of on, but if everyone loves it, he might like he'll say it's a great game if you like Assassin's Creed. It's not for me, but like this, like I was actually surprised to hear him say a deep sale.
But also, it's Ubisoft.
Yeah.
This game's gonna get very cheap, very quickly. It's on like already the pre-orders are down to like $50 or below.
I feel most of the people who say they loved Odyssey, if you look, they didn't play it at launch. It was something they played a year later, and they said, "Oh my God, I loved it. This was one of the best games I played." But they didn't play it on day one.
Yeah,
so it's like,
I did.
No, I'm not saying you can't love it.
Haha, dummy. No.
No, I'm saying I encountered the bugs that come with a day one Ass Creed.
Oh, well, Kerry played it day one. She put like 150 hours in.
I love that sentence that came out of Michaela's mouth.
I've got a couple gems tonight.
Yeah. Good on you, kid.
Yeah. I'm revved up from the weekend.
Episode title, Michaela said words.
I have experienced the bugs that come with a day one Ass Creed. It's just
like that was Austin Powers. So you like chocolate ass cream? Yes. You're the chocolate ass cream. Yes. No, so it'd be interesting. I mean, I feel like Assassin's Creed's always a deep sale anyway.
Yeah.
It's just because that's compared to Watch Dogs is not a long game. If you can get through it and there's not a lot of bugs, you'd be done in like when you stepped away, you probably could beat Legion in 20 hours. Like there's no gating. You can get if I pushed it, you probably can go 15, 18 hours.
Yeah, you did The Witcher 3 in 28 hours.
But Odyssey, Origins, you're not even if you mainline it, you're still going to spend 40 to 50 hours.
Especially, they changed the level scaling in Odyssey. And it was a little sketchy because you can buy experience and stuff like that, and there are microtransactions in these very single-player experiences. That's my one big problem with Ass Creed. My second problem would be the sameness that's coming across these games. So I'm really hoping Valhalla does something to make it actually feel different. Like, Odyssey definitely evolved the gameplay over Origins, and the combat felt better, except for part of it's because I was playing on hard mode, and the level scaling is just super, super punishing. Like, every time I would go to the next area of the story, everybody's like 2 levels higher than me, which means they're automatically going to murder me in the face if I try to touch them. There is no one-hit stealth kill. It's like, I stabbed him and now he's mad. Run away.
It's like that scene in Good Morning Vietnam where Robin Williams starts a bar fight and he tries to punch one guy and the guy doesn't flinch. He's like, shit.
Exactly one of those moments. Because like usually you're like, all right, I'm gonna stealth around, and I can. This guy's by himself. I can totally stealth kill him. No, you cannot. Like you can see what the health bar will reduce to after you do like an assassination attack, and it's not an assassination attack. It's literally you're gonna piss him off, then he's gonna turn around and swing an axe at you. So that felt weird for an Assassin's Creed game that you have trouble assassinating unless you do some grind. And the worlds are so big, a lot of the content feels repetitive because you're kind of doing the same foot over and over and over again. Does something that makes it distinct, even if they just change things like the UI to make it feel like it's not the same Assassin's Creed game again, will help.
Right.
But yeah, that one
see now. I feel like the repetitive content thing. And you both are reviewers. I am not, but that's video games. Every video game is.
Not every video game is like that.
I mean, I'm not saying every video game is you doing the exact same thing from front to back, but it's.
Yeah, but okay, let's compare open world real quick. Think about Ghost of Tsushima. How many of those felt like the same thing over and over again, cookie cutter content that had been copy pasted in different parts of the map?
I mean, the shrines and the foxholes or the fox shrines, the ones where you're doing the Far Cry Tower thing in Ghost of Tsushima. All of those were very different, but there weren't a lot of them. The fox shrine things, some of those were just like, oh, I'm just going over a field. Oh, I'm going over a field with a hill on it. Like there were a few of those that were that were more memorable, at least like during my playtime. I don't remember them now. I'm not going to pretend to. But I've done a lot of gaming since then. I've also done a lot of drinking. So,
my point with that comparison is Ghost of Tsushima, to me, has a very effective open world. It doesn't feel small. There's plenty of content in it, but it doesn't overstay its welcome. I'm trying to think back how much time it took to platinum that game.
Like 20 hours-ish. It wasn't.
Ghost?
Yeah.
What did you just say?
Like 20 hours?
What? No. 20 hours? I'm thinking like 50 to 60 hours to platinum Ghost. But for Assassin's Creed Origins, it took me
I think it's in the middle of both of them.
I think I also play kind of slow. So I would say around 50 hours is an average person's platinum for Ghost of Tsushima.
That's okay. I mean, we're not here to argue that, but anyway, continue.
For me, for Assassin's Creed Origins, which is smaller than Odyssey, was pushing 140 hours. Think of Ghost, but more than almost tripled in size.
Yeah.
That's how repetitive it gets. And then they make another game that's very similar to it, and then they make another game that could be very similar to it. It gets very old.
Yes, and then that shows the problem of editing rather than repetition. It's not the repetition that's the problem. It's just having so much of the same thing to do.
Yeah.
And I know that so much of the same thing to do just sounds like repetition, but
no. I think the biggest problem with open world is people think open world means big.
Mm-hmm. Has to be sprawling. It has to take you 4 hours to walk from one end to the other.
Yeah, open world is a design philosophy of how you can travel from one area to another. It's not supposed to be an indicator of size. And I think Ubisoft has forgotten that because they go huge. They go so big, it's almost unmanageable. Literally gives me anxiety when I look at the map. And I prefer linear games for the most part. So to me, two of the most effective open worlds I have ever been in, Ghost and Horizon. They are manageable. They are densely populated. They are varied in environments. They do have some repetitive content, but it doesn't overstay its welcome because it's not quadruple the size of what it should be.
Yeah.
So I think
it's not doing 39 it's not doing 39 radio towers in Far Cry 3.
Yeah, I think bigger is better is a misconception when it comes to open world because you do want a sizable game. I do appreciate games that are 20 hours long. I also appreciate games like I played Persona 5 twice. I can play a long game, but the content needs to be worth it. I don't like the copy paste-ness that's been going on quite a bit too much with some of the Ask Creed stuff. But that said, I'm still very excited for Valhalla. I fucking love Vikings. I'm going to buy Valhalla. On sale.
I'm glad we were both quiet to wait for that pause to happen, because that was like, I fucking love Vikings. I'm going to buy Valhalla. On sale.
It's Ubisoft. You have to buy the games on sale or you're a sucker.
I know. I just like the way you did that. That's all.
My goal was delivery.
Oh, the other news, PS5 is region free.
That's cool.
Wasn't PS4 region free?
No.
Was it?
No.
Mm-hmm.
And PS Now will be available on Thursday, day one.
As a part. Okay. Is it a
I
part of PS?
I don't think it's not a part of anything. I just don't think they had confirmed it up to this point, but it's available day one.
Something else, along with all of obviously the reviews for both Xbox and PlayStation and these further confirmation details we're getting about the PlayStation and the controller and stuff like that. And I think they even said they're considering trying to get PS5 games running on a hard disk drive, an HDD. Though I don't know if I would want that because they're not going to run as well without the SSD. Something Sony's also been doing all week last week, showing more gameplay. There was even more like Demon Souls gameplay. There was gameplay for another one of their exclusives. They were talking about maybe, they didn't confirm anything, but they're targeting a first half 2021 window with Ratchet and one other game. But then Gran Turismo, yeah. And then I saw maybe Horizon is actually second half 2021, which tells me God of War is 2022. Get that out. But they are showing a lot of gameplay.
And they announced that there will be different color controllers coming.
Oh, and did we already talk about this last week? I don't think we did. They shut down PlayStation.
Yeah.
People who were selling the faceplates. Different color face.
Yeah.
It tells me Sony's going to do that themselves. They didn't want the competition.
I mean, and also, you could have it's a clever name, but you didn't think anyone would notice Plate Station?
Yeah, they got
Come on.
They got the big soup. Not PlayStation related, but one other thing I do remember happening last week, and I feel like we do this every week now on the podcast, is talk about a game delay. The week before it was Cyberpunk. This past week, it was The Medium got delayed because I think the Cyberpunk delay put it on the same release date as when The Medium was supposed to come out. So they booted that a couple months.
And also, The Medium's not coming out in Australia as of right now because of the rating. But Australia's weird with that.
Yeah. Anybody here getting Cyberpunk?
I think Jeff's planning on it, so I'll play, but...
Yeah, I'm planning on it, but I'm having trouble getting excited for it, but it's a part of my goal this year, play more FPS games. So that one's on my radar. It was also going to be part of the Game of the Year discussion, and I know that. So I wanted to play it because
Jeff Keighley eliminated it from the Game of the Year discussion.
Yes, because of the most recent delay, but before that it was eligible.
And he's the arbiter of all that. So, we have to abide by our Lord and Savior Jeff Keighley.
Yeah, I do say it's not gonna obviously it's not gonna make it in time for our Game of the Year discussion.
Oh, definitely not.
But I'm still gonna pick it up and play it. I just have trouble getting excited for it.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel because I'm not a CD Projekt Red fanboy. I enjoyed The Witcher. I'd like to go back and take my time, but
I enjoyed how much other people enjoy The Witcher, and I like to watch the show.
It looks like it's going to be a phenomenal game, but nothing's grabbing me. That's oh my god, I have to play this. It doesn't look like it's anything.
The first time.
The thing that puts me off the game sometimes is the fandom itself, which you can say about a lot of games. But when they announced that your genitalia was customizable and people were freaking out, I was like, really? Really? This is why you're best game ever? I'm like, really? Really?
I'm more excited for Chronos than I am Cyberpunk.
I'm more excited for Chronos than I am Cyberpunk too. And like that's that because like I was super excited for a bigger open world cyberpunk game. I do like that aesthetic. I do like that type of that genre of RPG. But and I know that I'm the only one on the show that thinks this way, but like CD Projekt Red has really put a very bad taste in my mouth with the shit that they have done. I think the transphobic stuff is real bad. I think I have my thoughts about crunch. Mm-hmm. I think the genitalia customization. You know, there's a reason you leave surprises in a game, and definitely surprise us with the genitalia, because I feel like they got in front of that in a way that the internet could not have its fun with it. And it's just depriving us all of very juvenile humor. The icing on the cake, which was the thing that made me not interested in pre-ordering anymore, is why the fuck do you put Dr. Disrespect in a fucking game?
Yeah, that one, I can't get behind that.
It's like, why? I mean, you know, of all the shit bags, you picked that shit bag. Like,
if you got Keanu, do you really need Dr. Disrespect too?
Right? Right? You have a man with actual long hair that can grow actual facial hair, and you get a man with fake long hair and a very bad mustache. And just like, you know, I know at this point, Dr. Disrespect has gotten his money, but I ain't about to give him any more.
No. Yeah.
I mean, I think at this point, I'll finally open up my copy of The Witcher 3 and fucking play it, because I still haven't done that. Anything else? Sucks for people interested in Medium. Yeah, I know I've seen that game. I don't know what it is. I don't remember it.
Horror creepy game. I recognize the actress who does the model, and I forget what she's been in. If I saw her face, I'd be able to tell you.
Okay.
That one, there's Xbox, when they did like their July showcase, they showed a lot of like horror stuff, and that was one of them.
Yeah, that was Scorn came out of that, right?
Yeah.
The only thing with any color in that reveal was Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2.
That Scarlet Nexus thingy, because it's anime.
I don't remember that one. I remember Vampire.
Wasn't very memorable.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Troy Baker's in the Medium.
I gotta look.
I mean, I probably could have guessed that.
Yeah,
it's an interesting premise, but no thanks.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, if it comes out this year.
All right.
I think at some point, I think it probably still will come out this year, but I bet you they could probably find a way to delay it till Christmas or something like that. Anything else?
Moose, take us out.
Oh shit, we can't finish tonight, can we?
Oh, shit.
We have to stay here till next week.
We're stuck here. Okay. Hey, Bagel, you want to take us out? He's looking at me like he's interested.
I hear like a tail thumping.
Yeah, that's what Bagel does.
Okay, so we could all do it on 3.
Okay. All right. So
1,
3,
2, 3,
1. Bye. At Story Route Zero, we have some cool friends who do some cool things, and I'd like to tell you about them. Phoenix Overdrive uses the power of games and gamers to help heal sick kids through the charity Extra Life. Phoenix Overdrive fundraises for Children's Miracle Network hospitals all year, every year, and the fund culminates in a 24-hour gaming marathon. Find out more about their events and projects online via Facebook at facebook.com/Phoenix Overdrive or on Twitter and Instagram at PHX_Overdrive. You can also join the Facebook group of Pawn Stars at facebook.com/groups/PONation in order to share and discuss all the latest in nerd culture. They've also got a podcast, Nerd Overdrive, which you can see weekly at youtube.com/Phoenix Overdrive. You can also catch it on Facebook Live or twitch.tv/PHX_Overdrive. That podcast is also published on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and Stitcher. You want merch? They got merch. Merch can be ordered from tinyurl.com/PHXODmerch, a portion of which goes to their fundraising efforts. Join the nation and be a hero to sick kids, as El Capitan Rey Osorio, Lee the Maestro, and Becky, the lovely queen of the guild, always say, #Rise Above. Thank you for listening to Story Route Zero. We hope you have enjoyed your time here as much as we've enjoyed having you. Once again, questions, concerns, complaints, pictures of pets, or favorite recipes can be sent to storyroute0@gmail.com. You can yell at us on Twitter @StoryRoute0. Rate us and review us on iTunes, YouTube, or wherever you may have found us, as it helps with discoverability. If you'd like to hit us up individually, you can find Moose Cool @Sven, that's SVHENN on Twitter, PSN, Instagram, and of course Twitch, streaming games. You can find Jason Marshall writing at obelisk.co. You can also find him on Twitter @GimpyJ with 2 Y's at the end, as well as PSN, Instagram, and Twitch. He also has his own website, whereisthepausebutton.com. You can find Michaela Crescione doing all sorts of writing at obelisk.co, as well as on Twitter @RedXMaud. My name is Matthew Keel. You can find me everywhere I'd like to be @infinite_rewind. That's Twitter, that's Instagram, that's Twitch, that's PSN, and I also have my own website, infiniterewind.com. Be sure to check us out at all the places. You are always welcome, and you will always have a seat waiting for you on this ride. Thank you for listening, but for now, it's back to the real world for us. So we will see you on the next one.